Lady Montbarry had not once ventured to look at Agnes since she had made her way into the room. Advancing to take the chair that had been pointed out to her, she hesitated, put her hand on the rail to support herself, and still remained standing.
"Please, give me a moment to compose myself,"
she said faintly. Her head sank on her bosom. She stood before Agnes like a conscious culprit before a merciless judge. The silence that followed was literally the silence of fear on both sides. In the midst of it, the door was opened once more, and Henry Westwick appeared. He looked at Lady Montbarry with a moment's steady attention, bowed to her with formal politeness, and passed on in silence. At the sight of her husband's brother, the sinking spirit of the woman sprang to life again. Her drooping figure became erect. Her eyes met Westwick's look, brightly defiant. She returned his bow with an icy smile of contempt. Henry crossed the room to Agnes.
"Is Lady Montbarry here by your invitation?"
he asked quietly.
"No.
"Do you wish to see her?"
It is very painful to me to see her."
He turned and looked at his sister-in-law.
"Do you hear that?"
he asked coldly.
"I hear it,"
she answered, more coldly still.
"Your visit is, to say the least of it, ill-timed."
"Your interference is, to say the least of it, out of place."
With that retort, Lady Montbarry approached Agnes. The presence of Henry Westwick seemed at once to relieve and embolden her.
"Permit me to ask my question, Miss Lockwood,"
she said with graceful courtesy.
"It is nothing to embarrass you. When the courier Ferrari applied to my late husband for employment, did you—"
Her resolution failed her before she could say more. She sank trembling into the nearest chair, and after a moment's struggle, composed herself again.
"Did you permit Ferrari,"
she resumed,
"to make sure of being chosen for a courier by using your name?"
Agnes did not reply with her customary directness. Trifling as it was, the reference to Montbarry, proceeding from that woman of all others, confused and agitated her.
"I have known Ferrari's wife for many years,"
she began.
"and I take an interest."
Lady Montbarry abruptly lifted her hands with a gesture of entreaty.
Miss Lockwood, don't waste time by talking of his wife. Answer my plain question plainly."
"Let me answer her,"
Henry whispered.
"I will undertake to speak plainly enough."
Agnes refused by a gesture. Lady Montbarry's interruption had roused her sense of what was due to herself. She resumed her reply in plainer terms.
"When Ferrari wrote to the late Lord Montbarry,"
she said,
"he did certainly mention my name."
Even now she had innocently failed to see the object which her visitor had in view. Lady Montbarry's impatience became ungovernable. She started to her feet and advanced to Agnes.
"Was it with your knowledge and permission that Ferrari used your name?"
she asked.
"The whole soul of my question is in that. For God's sake, answer me. Yes or no?"
"Yes."
That one word struck Lady Montbarry as a blow might have struck her. The fierce life that had animated her face the instant before faded out of it suddenly and left her like a woman turned to stone. She stood, mechanically confronting Agnes, with a stillness so rapt and perfect that not even the breath she drew was perceptible to the two persons who were looking at her. Henry spoke to her roughly.
"Rouse yourself,"
he said.
"You have received your answer."
She looked round at him.
"I have received my sentence,"
she rejoined, and turned slowly to leave the room. To Henry's astonishment, Agnes stopped her.
"Wait a moment, Lady Montbarry. I have something to ask on my side. You have spoken of Ferrari. I wish to speak of him too.